Billy and Bobby Myers were NASCAR drivers back in the 50s. The brothers began their racing careers in Winston-Salem. Billy, the older of the brothers, began competing in the NASCAR Grand National Division in 1951. In his first event, he finished 8th at the Asheville Speedway. On April 12, 1958, while racing in a modified event at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Billy Myers suffered a heart attack and died. In his 6-year NASCAR career, Billy competed in 84 races. Bobby Myers competed in 15 Grand National events during his career, racing part-time between 1951 and 1957. In 1957, Myers was driving a solid race for Petty Enterprises in the Southern 500 at Darlington. Starting second, Myers even led his first career lap, but tragedy struck as Myers was killed in an early race accident and thus ending his career of a promising driver.
Flock and Thomas's car spins out at the end of the backstretch. He's broadside to the oncoming traffic, bearing down on him at 115 miles an hour. The leaders are coming around at top speed. Look out! Bobby Myers and Paul Goldsmith slam into the stalled car. The cars are thrown 200 feet by the impact. Myers' car flips 3 times. The field is slowed as the 3 injured drivers are removed from the wrecks. Paul Goldsmith is on his feet, stunned but able to walk. Let's hear how the wreck looked to him.
Coming down the back stretch, I was following Billy, probably about 1 car length behind him, and his windshield was a little bit fogged up, and I couldn't see through the car to see ahead. And when I moved towards the outside rail, then I could see past the right side of his car, and I thought I seen a car on the groove. Just about that time, why, Billy's car just disappeared. I didn't even see where it went. It just like an explosion, and there was no time to avoid hitting it, because when I hit it, why, the back end come up over, and then I went up in the air. I don't know how high, but I came down, and then it rolled over on the top and rolled over once and back onto its wheels.
In his 5-year racing career, he competed in 15 races. In their honor, the National Motorsports Press Association awards the Myers Brothers Memorial Award each year to the person or company deemed to have contributed the most to racing during that year. Some of the Myers Brothers Award winners are Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 2014, Jeff Gordon in 2012, Kyle Petty in 2000 and 2004, and Richard Petty in 1971 and 1964. Most recently, Sherry Pollux in 2017.
I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either. I'm going to try really hard not to cry, but
Yeah.
it's been a crazy, crazy year for both of us, personally and professionally, with my cancer. And
Don't do that, because then I'm going to cry. This is definitely an unbelievable honor to receive this award. We definitely didn't see it coming, did not expect it. I think Sherry and I, we've been very fortunate in our lives to have all the things we needed, and great families, great parents that raised us right and taught us right from wrong. And you know, I think they probably deserve a lot of the credit for us being who we are, and being able to give back and help people, and being part of the sport is just it's who we are. We're so proud of everybody. We've learned so much from past champions, and just everybody in the sport is so willing to give back and willing to give their time to great causes. So you know, we don't deserve all the credit for this. I think we've learned a lot of lessons from a lot of people in this room and a lot of people in this sport in general. So we're very fortunate, and definitely lucky to be able to give our time to great causes. And I'm so proud of her for her fight and her battle and what she's been able to pull through and to get through, and at the same time still willing to help others and give her time, and just really, really proud of this. So thank you all very, very much. We're humbled. We're very lucky to be here, and we're very proud of this.
thank you.
Thank you.
The average cost of a new home was $11,700. The average monthly rent was $88. The yearly wage average was $4,450. And to get 1 gallon of gas, it will cost you 22 cents. Can you guess the year? If you guessed 1956, you are correct. The 50s was a boom period for America. World War II was behind us, suburban life was becoming the way of life, and America was in the middle of a music revolution with some notable events that would help shape our country's identity. In 1956, the first hard disk is invented by IBM. IBM released the first computer with a hard drive, the IBM 305 RAMAC, that's RAMAC. The machine weighed about 1 ton and measured about 16 square feet. It was created by IBM employee Reynold Johnson and his research team. Another landmark event that happened in 1956 was the United States 1956 Federal Aid Highway Act. The Federal Highway Act authorized the creation of the interstate system, with the construction of over 41,000 miles of highways across the United States over a 20-year period. It was by far the largest U.S. public construction project to be undertaken by the government at that point in history, and it was estimated to cost between $25 and $30 billion to build. The year 1956 would also be the beginning of some of America's greatest moments in television,
and now for the next 30 minutes, as the world turns. Brought to you today by Ivory Soap, 99 and 44, 100% pure. It floats.
movies. The premiere of the epic film The Ten Commandments. The film, directed by legendary icon Cecil B. DeMille, starred Charlton Heston as Moses, Yul Brynner as Ramses, and Ann Baxter as Nefertiti. At the time it was created, The Ten Commandments was the most expensive film ever made and featured some of the largest sets ever created. It was a huge financial success and had critical acclaim, being nominated for 7 Academy Awards. In the 1950s, America will witness the rise of a king. In 1956, that man would take his first steps towards greatness with a little ditty called The Heartbreak Hotel.
Well, since smile, baby, I'll find you a place to dwell. Who's down at the end of Lonely Street at Heartbreak Hotel.
This was Elvis Presley's first hit. The music of Elvis took America by storm, and in '56, it would mark the first time Elvis would walk onto the stage of the Ed Sullivan Show. '56 was certainly firing on all cylinders, and so was the Ford Motor Company. The Mercury division of Ford was creating this beauty, the 1956 Mercury Montclair. In the 1950s, much more so than in future decades, the Ford Motor Company understood what a Mercury ought to be. It was a clearly defined rung on the ladder up from Ford and in the direction of Lincoln. In the boom years of 1955 and 56, when Ford's products were undergoing an extensive restyling, the Mercury line benefited from a look all its own, one epitomized by the Montclair range. Their signature styling themes were deeply hooded headlamps that formed a dignified prow, a massive bumper and a grille assembly, and vertical tail lamps with eyebrows to match the headlamp hoods. The 1955 Mercury redesign is considered one of the best of what was a superb year for nearly every domestic American automaker. The full-size and top-line Montclair was Mercury's newest model, and with a height of 58.6 inches, it was marketed as the lowest sedan you could buy. The coupe shared the Ford Crown Victoria body and included the glass-top Sun Valley, of which only 1,787 were made. Body styles also included a 4-door sedan, 2-door hardtop, and a convertible. Ford was in the midst of a performance renaissance in 1956. Having retired the venerable flathead V8 only 3 years previously, the greatness and the potential of the Montclair was what motivated Mercury. In 1956, it won 5 NASCAR Grand National races.
The race is on. The front runners roar away, leaving a dust and grit-filled tornado as they head for the first turn. Mansion number 8 jams his Ford into the lead. Thompson's Chrysler is a close second. Goldsmith's Chevrolet is third. Down the backstretch, Pant shows the field his tailpipe.
Every year, the Transportation Center senior class takes on a final project. The purpose is to evaluate the students' progress and to challenge their knowledge and ability. This semester, the seniors got an amazing project and opportunity to refabricate a 1956 Mercury Montclair. Now, if that wasn't cool enough, the car that the students will be working on belongs to this man. That's right, Danny Chocolate Myers himself. Chocolate, who happens to be a very close personal friend to the instructor of this course, Chip Lang, thought this would be a unique opportunity for the students to get their hands on an authentic 1956 Mercury Montclair.
And by doing this car, that's the way we can go back and honor my dad. We like to take these cars out and show them and let people know the way things used to be. In 1956, my dad drove a car just like this and was sometimes it was a hardtop, sometimes it was a convertible, but they raced this car all over the Southeast, and it was really cool. My Uncle Bill also drove one. My Uncle Bill was 14, my dad was 4, and my wife Karen found this car and told me about it, and we went and got it, and we said, we're going to fix this the way that it's supposed to be. So very, very significant in the history of my dad's career.
Chocolate even stopped by to visit with the students and to share some of his knowledge and experience from his time as a gas man for the Dale Earnhardt.
If you get through with this and you go to work and you get out there and get a job, you're going to find that time starts picking up a little bit of speed. The older you get, the faster it goes. And do everything that you can do while you're young and enjoy it.
Due to the size and scope of this project, the current crop of students will not be able to finish working on the Montclair. It's an extensive and detailed-oriented task and cannot be rushed. Time plays a major factor in these types of large-scale projects, so therefore we will not be able to show you the refabricated version of the 1956 Mercury Montclair. Not that long ago, these cars struggled to find buyers, as collectors were enthralled with other American cars from the same time period, think Chevrolet. But times and tastes both changed. The big Mercurys of the 1950s are now highly respected for their bold looks and big performance. It was a long time coming, but they're highly sought after nowadays.
Danny Myers is a legend when it comes to all things NASCAR. His father, Bobby Myers, and his uncle, Billy Myers, were pioneers of the sport. Their legacy lives on in NASCAR as the Myers Brothers Award. Due to his family's history in this motorsport, Danny Myers grew up at racetracks such as Bowman Gray. He knew even then he would want to follow in his father's footsteps and become involved in NASCAR. After briefly dabbling in racing, Danny switched gears and became a pit crew member instead, working for the iconic Dale Earnhardt and the Flying Aces crew. Danny was the gas man for Dale and was there to help Dale Earnhardt to 84 of his famous and legendary victories, including 6 of that team's NASCAR championship seasons. After many prestigious years in NASCAR, Danny Myers retired in 2002. He is the current curator for the Richard Childress Racing Museum, and he also hosts a NASCAR-themed radio show on Sirius Satellite Radio entitled Tradin' Paint. He has also appeared in many television commercials, movies, including the Smokey and the Bandit series, and he has done color commentary for ESPN2. Danny Myers was also inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2006.
What was it like growing up in a famous NASCAR family?
Well, it was pretty cool, actually, but when we talk about growing up in a famous NASCAR family, the only thing I really had was a name. You know, I mean, my dad lost his life when I was 8 years old. but I was always one of the Myers boys. You know, when I would go to Bowman Gray Stadium, we'd go over, we'd always get in. You know, it didn't cost us anything to go in because we were the Myers boys. And then once a year at Bowman Gray Stadium, throughout the history of NASCAR, they had the Myers Brothers Memorial Race. And so that would be myself, my brother, my two cousins, Randy and Gary, my mother, Laureen, and my Aunt Arlene would go to Bowman Gray Stadium and present the trophy to the winner. So because I was at Bowman Gray Stadium, I knew all the players. You know, we knew Richard Petty, we knew David Pearson, we knew the local guys, of course, but we knew all the stars of NASCAR. And that was really, really cool to be able, look, growing up in the South, we didn't have baseball or football. The only thing we had was NASCAR and racing. So racing's always been a big part of my life.
So Dale Earnhardt, he had many victories and moments of glory during his career. As a prominent member of his pit crew, what was one of your favorite memories that stand out to you?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. And let me tell you this, and I know that different things mean different things to different people, right? You know, if you grew up at Martinsville, then Martinsville would be your biggest win. For me, as a kid growing up, I always wanted to be a race car driver. I always wanted to go to Darlington and win the Southern 500. That's where my dad lost his life at, right? To go to Darlington and to be a part of a pit crew that was standing in victory lane at Darlington for the first time was the most incredible thing for me. It was emotional. Now, don't get mixed up here. That one was cool, but the 1998 Daytona 500, that one was awesome. Had my family with me that day. We were all in victory lane together. 1995, when we were able to win the Brickyard race, man, that was cool as well. But for me, I go back and I got to have Darlington right there at the top of that list, along with those other two.
Danny Myers recently purchased the same model of car his father raced back in the 50s. Students at Forsyth Tech have been refurbishing the car to its former glory to look just like Bobby Myers' legendary racer.